Sussy take hussy, sussy, 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 take hussy, sussy, sussy, sussy.
Electric vehicles cause more pollution than gas vehicles at the moment, you himbo. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Okay, we're done with this stun lock. Let's get back to an even worse stun lock, which is sex worker stun lock. All right.
And also,
relationship-wise, since 3 years ago, for you, relationship-wise.
I was engaged to somebody in the industry, and sometimes what it does to people, it mentally can scar you.
Has anything changed since 3 years ago for you, relationship-wise?
Been following since around 2018, giving you my prime whenever I remember to.
You know what I'm actually surprised by the way? We're going to talk about this in a second, but like the only thing I was going to say as far as like I'm surprised I didn't get this criticism that I'm personally responsible for like the mining of lithium in Bolivia because of my purchase. Anyway, let's continue.
Sex is sacred. 3, 2, 1.
Dude, I would do a better
go.
job than my haters at hating on me.
I believe everybody has the opportunity to choose what kind of sex they will have, how they want to have sex, when they want to have sex, why they want to have sex. But then there's times I just want to be a dirty pig and just go out and do whatever I want, and that's not sacred.
I do think it can be, and I also think it cannot be. The connection, I think, is very important. So it can be, if you're connected to that person that way, it could be very sacred. Or else you can just have sex without any emotions and just a more physical, awesome space.
People don't really get it. Like when I'm on set, I'm Donnie Sins. When I'm at home, I'm normal me. So when I have sex at home, there's like a connection, there's love, there's all that other stuff.
There's also not like a ring light and a camera in
Exactly.
directly in your face.
Open up. Let me see like the penetration. You're not being told that at home. You're just going with the flow.
Buck and I were actually talking about this earlier, but a lot of people, they're able to separate sex and emotions and like feelings. So it's not always sacred in the way that people think. For me, in my brain, I register it the same as like, oh, I went and worked out at the gym with my friend, but the workout just happened to be sex.
My family approves of what I do for a living. 3, 2.
Fuck, there's a delay again. Do you guys see it? Fucking annoying. For people saying she's aged a lot in 3 years, dog, I've aged a lot in 3 years. What the fuck do you mean? You've aged a lot in 3 years. What are you talking about? What happened 3 years ago, dude? That might have played a role in that, you think?
1, go.
They're not all for it. They still want me to go back to college. They found out the first day that my first scene came out. My mom, she called me and she was upset. And then like a week after that, she was like, you know, I love you and like, you're still welcome to come home. But they had my back.
All of my family members, they have went to college, Ivy League schools, and I'm the only one that chose to become a sex worker. It was always an awkward conversation until I completely retired from doing in-person sex work. That tension is still there, but they are happy that I'm not performing or meeting up with anyone in person. So they're comfortable with me just being an online performer.
They're happy that I'm safe and I'm healthy and I have a income coming in. Before the industry, I'm an addict. I'm sober now, but like I used to get in a lot of trouble. I was living on the street, it was a whole thing. And then the industry helped me create a safe space for myself and also do a lot of work on my mental health. They would prefer if I did something else, but they're not going to hate me for doing it.
Dear chatters, we're learning about our community. Buck Angel is a trans man who is also transphobic. He's a trans medicalist and is very much a grandpa yells at clouds kind of asshole. Yeah. But also at the same time, it's like he's old trans person. A tranpa? Oh my God, I've never heard that term before. Yo. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what his hat says? I didn't see that.
White.
It is hard for me to find a relationship.
I love
because of my
that.
job.
Okay.
3, 2.
I use, oh yeah, it does say that. I use Buck as an example because I mean he mega passes. You know what I mean? I think that it's like a good entry point for people that don't understand it. Obviously, it doesn't stop there. Like being trans doesn't stop at like passing. If you don't pass, you're not trans. Is not what I'm saying ever. Obviously, or if you might not want to pass. You know what I mean? So like I get all of that stuff, but like I personally do think still that if you're talking to someone who is deeply transphobic, using someone like Buck Angel, who's like, who, you know, super passes is like a very good entry point to be like, do you think that person who corresponds to like Western, masculine, stereotypes, are you going to misgender them? You know what I mean? Or sometimes I use like trans, models. That doesn't mean that is where it, that doesn't mean that that's where it stops or where it's just where it begins. You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't matter what his own personal worldview is. I think it's probably mostly because he is a transpa, you know, a grandpa trans. So I think people like Buck Angel went through a lot more in comparison to what people are going through. Still, obviously, still horrible, but you know, it's a little bit different when you're, you know, when you're like an older trans person. Not that it makes it acceptable to be a trans medicalist, obviously, because that's fucking, you know, you went through your own kind of suffering and then you turn around and you further it. That's not great, but.
One, go.
Trans medicalists are people who believe that you can only be trans if you have gender dysphoria, like a gender dysphoria diagnosis, and that you actively try to solve that medical problem that you have by gender confirmation surgery, and you can only be trans if you're like literally and actively trying to pass as a trans woman or as a trans man, and only if you transition that you're like actually trans. ContraPoints, Natalie, friend of the show, was canceled by the, not surgically necessarily, but at least hormones, yeah. Well, obviously not full blown, because Buck didn't get bottom surgery until I think recently, if I'm not mistaken. So you say friend of the show, but when she coming on to play baby games? Yeah, they don't believe like MBs are real. They believe that, you know, they're transgenders. People are transgenders. It's like weird. It's like Blair White. It's reactionary to be a trans medicalist. Trans medicalists want being trans to stay medicalized legally so insurance covers it. Not everybody thinks surgery is necessary. A lot of people are trans men regardless of gender dysphoria. Trans is an opinion or not.
Donnie, let's start with you. Has anything changed since 3 years ago for you relationship-wise?
I was engaged to somebody in the industry, and sometimes porn can destroy, you know, relationships and can destroy people, you know?
I think Donnie's kind of sad. I feel bad.
I don't have her anymore. And honestly, I don't know if I ever will, you know, because
God damn.
sometimes what it does to people, it mentally can scar you. I'm still single. Having sex with other people, to most people, is just like not a normal thing. Like, I'm going to work and I'm going to go have sex with somebody. As far as relationships, I feel like the only thing that has really changed is I've accepted that. Some people just, it always starts off good, and then after a while, they just feel a certain type of way, so.
I'll read off some popular search terms, and then you'll decide if it's problematic or not problematic. Ass to mouth. 3, 2,
Wait, why would that be
go.
problematic? What the fuck?
Porn is fantasy, people. Porn is fantasy. Is it problematic to use ass to mouth? Well, it depends on what.
Wait, is that problematic? Wait, I didn't even know. Wait, what is it? It's like ass to mouth is problematic because it's like what? Depends on the ass. I don't know. I mean, not to self-report, but I eat ass. You know what I mean? So I just didn't even think about that. Like, I'm sorry. I was not even thinking. I was not considering that to be like a bad thing. Yo, I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I don't know how we devolved into that. That's terrible. Yes. Yes. Asked them out. Very problematic. I do not eat ass. And I think that that's fucked up. Ask them out is a positive take exclusive from people who actually fuck.
Eat this poggies.
What you mean by problematic? Yeah, if someone does it without having a clean before they do it, well, they're going to learn the hard way.
So I think it's somewhat problematic because people want to do that, but like you need to prepare correctly because on movie sets, they are cleaning themselves.
Doesn't it literally taste like shit? No, dude, what the fuck? No, obviously don't eat ass if you're, don't fuck some, listen, communicate with your partner, okay? And make sure that they are, you know, well taken care of. But goddamn, dude, what do you mean? If it's clean, why not?
Out completely.
How do people clean themselves?
With an enema.
With an enema.
MILF. 3, 2, 1, go.
MILF to me is an empowerment term. It's, you know, we have a lot of ageism within our industry as well as a lot of other industries. It's not problematic because it's basically saying that that lady who happens to be a mom is super hot and I'd like to fuck her.
I just feel bad sometimes because you'll get the girl and you're like, oh, you're the.
It's sucking D after anal, Hasan, not eating ass. No, I know what ass to mouth is, but I'm eating ass directly. You know what I mean? So like, of course, for someone who eats ass directly, like, ass to mouth is not going to come across as a problematic POV at all. Do you not understand that? I'm putting my fucking tongue directly in there. So why would I care if it goes in there? Why would I care if my dick goes in there and then goes in her mouth afterwards? Everything just clicked for me and I had the same viewpoint as you. Asked the mouth made no sense to me. Like, I just don't get it. Dude, chill. Your mom's in the next room. She's not. But your mom is. Your mom came over. We're having sex. Let's
MILF today, and she's like, yeah, but I'm 25.
She's like younger than you.
So put some makeup on her that made her look older and put a dress on her.
Team. 3, 2, 1, go.
3 months hyper's hassle.
This one is tricky because I do fall in the teen category. A lot of men are pervy and they love the whole fresh out of high school age play. They love it and I'm gonna profit off of it. But it does get to the point where it's a little bit too far. Like when you want me to perform like I'm under 18, I'm not gonna act like a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Like that's just not going to happen.
When I was 18, 19, I loved the teen category because I was like, oh, people my age, this is right up my alley. This is perfect. It can be somewhat problematic just because there are people.
Yo, I never thought about it that way, but like, that's true. When I was a teenager, I fucking looked at that all the time. And now I don't like seek it out. You know what I mean? That's really interesting. I definitely was like looking at like barely legals, you know, it was just such a sketchy fucking term because when you think about it, it's like barely legal, the fuck? But I was illegal, you know what I mean? I was like fucking 14, so I was like, oh, sick. But then it's like, but then you think about it and it's like a 45-year-old man like wrote that. You know what I mean? Like that's their title. You can't even drink water that is trace fecal coliform. How can it be okay to eat shit directly? An enema will not kill those microorganisms. Okay, science person. How about you fucking chill out, okay?
Poggers.
You also can't guarantee they're not 17. No, you definitely can. What are you talking about? All that is fake. They're all 18. Get the fuck out of here. You're crazy. That's so strange. I never realized that, like, my consumption has changed throughout the years, and I definitely used to look at that when I was younger. That's definitely something that I would, because I thought like normal porn was like the women in like normal porn were like 30, so I was like, that's so old. I'm fucking 14. You know what I mean? But I totally see why it could be fucked up for like older people to seek out. And you guys know, like, I'm not a fan, and I do think it's incredibly weird and perhaps even illegal to do like the age play stuff. I don't want to get into it. The kink community is like very knowledgeable on this sort of stuff, and they get really mad. But like, I do, from where I'm standing, I don't find it acceptable at all, unless it's like literally for psychiatric treatment to like deal with childhood trauma and shit. But anything outside of that, doing like age play is so gross and fucking illegal, I think.
Like that, but it's also not our responsibility to regulate if somebody's going to be a creep.
But when people see teen or any of that within the porn space, immediately people go to sex trafficking. It's a little problematic because we're getting shoved again into that space of sex trafficking and teenagers and youngsters, and you know, which none of us want to touch any of that.
COVID has affected my job.
In a positive way, probably, for most.
1, go.
I'm happy COVID happened. I'm sorry. I had to say it. COVID has put so much money in my pocket that I have not seen since I've started out. And I think it was because everyone was just locked up in the house, not knowing what was going on in the world. And the next thing that they want was to be
I knew it. I knew she was going to say that.
Their fantasy.
Bro, come on. There's like, there were so many articles written, even one by a friend of the show, Taylor Lawrence, like a lot of women and a lot of men and a lot of people in general like got into OnlyFans for the first time ever. They got into OnlyFans as a consumer. They got into OnlyFans as a content creator. A lot of people made a lot of money. Now, of course, some people did not, and they're fucked. And, you know, they failed. And when you fail in the sex working industry, like, you fail harder than anything else. And so many people were able to literally gain more independence in their respective field because of OnlyFans. Not that OnlyFans is a good company or anything, and not that there isn't like a lot of predation, a lot of predatory behavior, especially with like agencies that fucking, you know, hire, outsource like artificial like or machine learning fucking talk bots and shit to like respond to all the OnlyFans whispers, which is how you conduct your business. For those of you who don't know how OnlyFans works. And then charge like, I mean, basically take 50% of the cut of the average OnlyFans model. Literally 20% of it goes to the agency, or 20% of it goes to OnlyFans, and then 30% on top of that goes to your gross, goes to the fucking agency that you're working with, or vice versa. I don't remember. I'm not entirely certain. I did not know how OnlyFans business was conducted because I don't have an OnlyFans. I don't, you know, purchase OnlyFans. So when I first found out how OnlyFans works, I was very confused. Apparently, it's through chats. You do like mass blasting.
And the community has to hope everyone stays
capping.
and healthy.
It's so funny. Why would I lie about that? I've talked about how I've jerked off the hentai, you fucking weirdos. Why would I lie? No, I know, because I know OnlyFans girls, like girls on OnlyFans that have shown me their back end. And that is a double entendre. Yes. Anyway, let's continue.
Girl, and I was at Fantasy Girls. That's why everyone hopped on the wave of OnlyFans. I even jumped back into webcamming, and my numbers skyrocketed.
It's weird, but people would rather see your laundry in the background than nice furniture and paintings, you know?
Yeah, that reality porn.
Because it's the realness of it. I think people really want realness. Polished porn, studio porn is going away.
When COVID hit, it affected me, and like I wasn't going to set anymore. We had a complete like shutdown in the industry where nobody was filming. Some people started making a lot of money, but then like other people who were doing only mainstream, they were like, what are we gonna do now? You know, because they didn't have that. So I feel like I was lucky that
Where's the
I already
blonde
had an
girl?
established online presence.
Sexual assault is prevalent in the industry. 3, 2, 1, go.
She died?
It's a hot topic in our industry because people want to be like, no, our industry is good. We want to protect each other, and there's such a big stigma against what we do as a job that
Wait,
we're
for
almost
real?
afraid to speak up when something happens. How are we supposed to make people accept porn if they know that people are in the industry getting assaulted sometimes?
I work in an industry that's probably separate from these people. I work in more of the gay adult industry. So in my 20 plus years in the adult industry, I would say I have not seen a lot of that happen. Of course it happens, and it does happen more in the straight industry than it does in the gay industry, from my observation.
We do have certain companies that do have an entire checklist that you have to sign and go through with the girl, and you guys talk about things. But you have people who still break rules. You have assholes in this world. That's what they are.
6
I
months.
guess I'm the only
Time
one
to
that would
start giving
strongly
bad
agree.
takes.
Because I have encountered sexual assault numerous times on sets, but sometimes I just hold it in when those situations happen until like a female performer, she'll tell me like, oh, like I'm shooting with this person, like I'll give her the heads up. But as far as like coming out, I literally have to wait for a big name to speak up on a certain performer to say something. Cause I know if I was to say something, no one would really believe me because I'm like the underdog. No one.
This is a very famous case. I mean, there's a big case with James Dean, and like, there are a bunch of actors, especially like that are. Remember, let me start off by saying this. Porn stars and sex workers in general are at the forefront of conversations about consent. So when they're talking about consent, they're talking about consent at a level that you cannot comprehend. Like they're literally talking, Ron Jeremy's another one. But they're talking about consent, like they're talking about the difference between enthusiastic consent versus just regular consent, shit like that. You know what I mean? Because this is a job. Owen Gray is a weirdo. I've heard that as well. So basically, that is like that's a completely separate conversation that most normie civilians don't need to even think about, I guess. Because when we're talking about like, am I delayed again? When we're talking about consent, like from a porn point of view, that's why Donnie brought up checklists, right? Some people don't want to do anal. If you fucking shove it in there, that's sexual assault. You know what I mean? They check that they don't want to do anal, and then you still shoved your dick in their ass. That's sexual assault. You violated consent. You broke consent in that situation. Or some people don't want to be like aggressively thrown around, and you did that when you're filming. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be rape? Yes, that's why I said it's sexual assault. What do you think sexual assault is? Rape. Yes, rape. That would be rape. Okay? Lore! The blonde woman of the video from like 3 years ago is Aiden Ashley. She's not dead. She's still making porn. She probably was busy. Hoss Wicked. I haven't seen that emo be used in here for a very long time.
One really has my back like that. I did a photo shoot. It was in a beautiful mansion with all these beautiful Instagram models, photographers everywhere. And I was getting ready to leave, and this photographer followed me to the bathroom. I didn't even know he was behind me, locked me in there, and some things happened. He's so well connected, I knew I could not speak out about it or say anything. I literally had to walk out of this bathroom with a smile on my face, put a mask on, and no one knew what I had to endure for those 20 minutes.
It's a power thing, and they know they can do that to you. By the way, I want to say I am so sorry that happened to you. It's just not okay.
You scarred her, like, there's things you can't take back from set, from content, from anything.
People should pay for porn. 3, 2, 1, go.
The sex industry is relying on the exploitation of women. Treating women's body as a commodity will never be right. Dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. Shut up. You're literally fucking crying about patriarchy and then associating it with like the sex working industry. There are men who do porn too. It's so fucking stupid. Men are doing porn. Men are doing porn. You just fucking hate that, like, men are doing porn. Women are watching porn. You just hate when men are watching the porn and women are in the porn, okay? Shut up. It's so fucking stupid, dude. I hate that take so much. Oh, dude. Yeah, all sex under patriarchy is rape, okay? All sex is rape, technically, because we live in a patriarchal construct, and all porn is also objectifying and commodifying women's bodies. You got it. You nailed it, dude.
It's not a harmless thing to be stealing porn.
What about gay porn? Doesn't exist. Not a real thing. A lot of that you know how I talked about how TERFs, trans exclusionary rad femmes, or people who like constantly fucking talk about how, you know, trans women should not participate with cis women in sports. A lot of that isn't just transphobia. It's actually misogyny packaged in with transphobia, because they're like thinking, well, a man is always superior athletically to a woman. You know, that level of misogyny also participates in it because they think the trans woman is a man, right? So there's the transphobia there, but then also the misogyny. So that's the same energy with swerves, okay? The swerves also fucking believe that, like, it's the same exact energy, which is like, there are no other exceptions. It's like, it's only women that are in the porn, and it's only for the male consumption. There's no gay porn. There's no other thing. Like, women are not adults that can make consenting decisions that are thoughtful. And it's just like and also only women are being objectified in this way, and only men are consuming it. It's so
Because
stupid.
there's a huge industry that's affected by it.
We're not legit in a lot of people's eyes. So on some level, they feel like they can take and steal our stuff because they just don't have compassion for us, and they don't look at us as if we are actually running a business. We have to pay for everything you see in our porn. How do we pay for that? The only way we can get that money is by you.
Do you agree that there would be less opportunities for women to be taken advantage of if porn didn't exist? No, because I'm not a fucking idiot, dude. Oh my God. That is the most idiotic fucking take I've ever heard in my entire life, dude. Yeah, before the invention of pornography as a method of consumption, women famously never got raped. You know, I always love going back to the time when, like, you know, the cinema did not exist. And before that, it was like women were famously never raped, dude. Yeah, like when the Vikings were pillaging, they were not raping. They were, because porn had not existed yet.
How do we pay for that? The only way we can get that money is by you participating in us creating that pornography.
We make a lot of people happy when they get that nut off, so y'all should pay us. That's all I wanted to say.
And like you guys asked us earlier, this is art.
That's
so
right.
you've paid for every piece of art. You paid for the clothing you have on, you pay for glasses, you pay for everything, so why not pay for porn? The work that it takes.
I understand there's always been rape and women have been taken advantage of, but now there's more money to made off of it, therefore leading to more exploitation than before. What? You think more women are being raped now than before? What? What the fuck? What is going on? Please. I just, that like hurt my head. Hearing that take hurt my soul a little bit. What? I just, dude, I feel like swerves deny reality in an effort to like shit on porn. Like where they're just like, swerves will be like, yeah, rape didn't exist. Like there's more rape now than when Genghis Khan was around. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like porn has made rape more prevalent? I don't know. I don't know how the fuck that, I don't know how to address that. You owned me with that one.
To do a video, I think you guys would be very surprised. Also, I feel like you guys should pay for porn especially because you want it regulated.
We keep these things behind paywall
Yeah.
and behind like age restrictions to make it so the adult movie.
You're taking shit. In this modern age we live in, people are still raped. So to talk of a time when porn didn't exist is redundant. The sex porn industry is harmful. We have no place for it in the modern times. What? Okay, LaFatty, explain to me what level of pornographic material do you want to stop? And what the actions you would take to stop it right now. Can women be sexy in you know, when they're modeling something? Also, then you have to explain to me what you consider to be sexy. What's the difference between sex work in porn versus, I don't know, an artistic like an art house flick that actually has like full insertion in the movie? Do you want to take that away too? Do you think that women should not even show titties in movies? Why do you also not recognize that men also participate in sex work? Yes, men are exploited too, but that doesn't take away from my point. Congratulations on switching points. How about addressing my actual point, asshole?
This stun lock is the best.
The actual
Thanks for the
point
stun
that you're
box.
making is what? That sex work is inherently exploitative of women? You singled out women, so I told you you're not thinking about men. But even then, it doesn't matter. Your point is silly. Why aren't they saying anything? Your take is shit. I want to hear it. All work is exploitative under capitalism. You're just singling out sex. Because you, for one reason or the other, have a weird relationship with sex. So I want to hear what your take is. Thank you for giving someone giving this person a subscription. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to stop it? How do you plan on stopping it? What do you want to stop? Treating a woman's body as a commodity will never be right. Do you think Hollywood and actors are not being treated as a commodity? Do you think that like that should be abolished as well? I just want to hear it. Do you think that women that work like black women specifically that work overwhelmingly in like minimum wage jobs in the fast food industry and shit, like do you think their bodies are not being treated like a commodity? Do you think that there isn't coercive elements there? Do you think that they're not being exploited? At least with sex work, like people like to get fucked and people like to do the fucking. Okay? So they're getting paid to do something that they enjoy doing.
They just want to be angry for no reason.
These are for adults.
If you are a legit porn person, like we all are here, we don't make it accessible to children. Who's making it accessible to children are the people who are putting the free pornography on the internet.
I would be comfortable with my child following in my footsteps. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I actually have a child, and not that he's asked me, hey dad, can I get into porn? But that being said, if he chose to do it, I would say that I would try to steer him a different direction because it's not an easy industry to be in. I do think there's better choices for people to make, but I would not discourage him 100%.
I said agree, not specifically for filming mainstream porn. I was thinking more so the route of contactless porn, so like webcamming, phone sex operator.
Parents sometimes being raped. I'm not disagreeing with you here, but I don't see why you won't concede that there's a lot of opportunities for abuse in the porn industry, or do you at least agree that there's more opportunities for sexual abuse? Wait, what? Of course there's opportunities for abuse and sexual abuse in the porn industry. There's opportunities for abuse in every industry, and even sexual abuse in most. But that's not your main point. Your main point is like, you're moving the goalpost. You started off by making it seem as though porn created more opportunities for abuse as far as like women being abused. Like you made it seem like because of the porn industry, there's more abuse now. Like sexual harassment was an invention of porn. Open my IG DM, please. It's important. No. Why do you always do this? There's always a chatter that like literally does this. They come in here and they go, open my IG DM, please. Open my IG DM, please, says Young Peachy. Created an hour ago. I don't even know what your IG DM is. I don't know what your Instagram profile is. I don't know what your DM is. I probably banned this person and then they made another sock account to be like, please open my IG DM.
16 months. The brain rot has set in.
Even content creator, somewhere where my child, our future child, doesn't have to have interaction with the consumer. As far as like in-person sex work, that will be a problem because I know what could possibly happen, and I don't even want my worst enemy to experience that, so I won't want my child to experience that neither.
It's a wrap.
Can we do a group hug?
Good stuff.
This was pretty normal. Like, this was a pretty good video overall. It wasn't bad. It wasn't weird, surprisingly. I really thought it was going to be bad and weird. You know? I'm happy that it wasn't, you know? I really want to know what this person has to say. I don't know why they just like fucking drop this dumb shit and then they move on. Your take is shit. In this modern age we live in, people are still raped, so talk of a time when porn didn't exist is redundant. The sex porn industry is harmful. We have no place in that in the modern times. But you're not mentioning why it's harmful. You're not mentioning what is harmful about it. You're not mentioning how you would ever stop it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not mentioning what degree of protection are you willing to go for? Okay? Like, when I serve you the top of the hour ad break, okay, I tell you it's not harmful, but it's the only time when, you know, it's a part of the stream that you won't be able to see. And then I tell you that if you still want an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. Okay? And you can subscribe for $5, but if you don't have $5, you can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. And that if you don't have a Twitch Prime, then you can just fucking pray to Allah that you get a gifted sub if you're lucky, right? Porn can impartially be blamed for that because it shows unrealistic standards. Try to look at someone like Ben Shapiro looking at Mia get plowed and come 7 times.